There is a sculpture by Auguste Rodin that everyone knows. It is called The Thinker. You have seen it. A man sitting on a rock, chin resting on his hand, muscles tense, lost in deep contemplation. We look at this image and we believe that this is what thinking looks like. Static, rigid, frozen in place. We have internalized the lie that the mind works best when the body is stationary. We believe that to solve a difficult problem, we must chain ourselves to a desk. We believe that to write a great essay or code a complex feature or navigate a difficult negotiation, we must sit in a chair and stare at a glowing rectangle until the solution appears. But the solution does not appear. Instead, frustration appears. Anxiety appears. The blinking cursor becomes a taunt. The walls of the room seem to close in. You are trying to force a river to flow by building a dam. The ancient philosophers knew a secret that we have forgotten in our modern, seated world. They knew that the mind and the body are not two separate machines. They are one system. And when the body becomes stagnant, the mind becomes a swamp. Let us look at your life. You are likely struggling with a problem right now, a knot you cannot untie. And the more you pull on the ends of that knot while sitting in your chair, the tighter it gets. Consider how this manifests in your work. You sit down at 9 a.m., you have a project due, you are motivated, but by 11 a.m., your thoughts are looping. You're checking emails you have already read. You are rewriting the same sentence 3 times. You feel a physical heaviness in your chest. The air in the room feels recycled and stale. You pour more coffee, hoping the caffeine will jumpstart your brain, but all it does is make your heart race while your mind remains stuck in the mud. Consider how this manifests in your relationships. You are arguing with a partner or a spouse. You're sitting on the couch, facing each other, or perhaps staring at the floor. The argument goes in circles. You say the same things, they say the same things. You are trapped in a geometry of conflict. Because your bodies are fixed in place, your positions become fixed. There is no movement, so there is no progress. The energy in the room stagnates, becoming thick and suffocating. Consider your nights. You lie in bed, exhausted but awake. Your body is perfectly still, but your mind is running a marathon at full speed. It is replaying embarrassing moments from 5 years ago. It is simulating catastrophes that haven't happened yet. This is the paradox of modern life. We sedate the body, so the mind goes into overdrive to compensate. Why does this happen? It is not because you are broken. It is because you are an animal. For hundreds of thousands of years, the human brain evolved in motion. We were nomads, hunters, gatherers. We covered miles of terrain every single day. Our cognitive functions, our ability to plan, to map territory, to predict the future, were designed to work in rhythm with our footsteps. When you walk, you're scanning the horizon, you're moving toward a destination. Your brain understands this as progress. But when you sit for 8, 10, 12 hours a day, your brain receives a signal of danger. In nature, if an animal is not moving, it is usually injured, hiding, or dying. Your biology interprets your stillness as a crisis. So it floods you with cortisol. It shuts down the creative, expansive parts of your brain and activates the survival loops. Imagine a pond deep in the forest. If the water does not flow, it becomes still. Leaves fall in and rot. Algae blooms across the surface, blocking the light. The oxygen is depleted. The water becomes murky, dark, and smells of decay. Nothing new can grow there. This is your mind when you sit. Now, imagine a mountain stream. The water crashes over rocks. It moves fast. It is constantly being aerated, constantly being renewed. The water is cold, clear, and full of life. Debris is washed away before it can settle. This is your mind when you walk. There is a Latin phrase that has been passed down through the centuries, whispered by the Stoics and the scholars, Solvitur Ambulando. It translates to, it is solved by walking. This is not a metaphor. It is a practical instruction manual for the human machine. Throughout history, the greatest minds understood that the feet are the gears that turn the wheel of thought. Look at Immanuel Kant, one of the most rigorous philosophers in history. He lived in Königsberg. Every day, at exactly 3:30 p.m., he would step out of his house for his walk. He wore his gray coat and carried his cane. He walked with such precision that his neighbors used him to set their clocks. Kant didn't walk for exercise. He didn't walk to burn calories. He walked to structure the universe in his mind. The rhythm of his boots on the cobblestones provided the metronome for his logic. Look at Friedrich Nietzsche, a man who spent his summers in the Swiss Alps, hiking for hours every day with a small notebook. He wrote, All truly great thoughts are conceived while walking. He believed that if an idea came from a person sitting among books, it was lifeless. It had no blood in it. Real truth, he believed, required the fresh air of the mountains and the pumping of the heart. Even in our digital age, the pattern holds. Steve Jobs was famous for his walking meetings. When he had to make a massive decision that would change the trajectory of Apple, he didn't book a conference room with a whiteboard. He said, "Let's take a walk." He knew that walking side by side with someone removes the confrontation of eye contact. It aligns your perspectives. It makes you look at the same horizon. What is happening here? Why does this work? It is simple mechanics. When you walk, you engage in what psychologists call bilateral stimulation. Left foot, left arm, right arm. This rhythmic, alternating movement engages both hemispheres of the brain. It forces the logical left side to communicate with the creative right side. The bridge between them, the corpus callosum, lights up. Furthermore, when you walk forward, you experience optical flow. The world moves past your eyes. Objects drift from your center of vision to your periphery. Neuroscience has shown that this specific visual pattern quiets the amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for anxiety and fear. By simply moving forward through space, you are physically telling your brain, "We are moving. We are not stuck. We are safe." The hustle culture tells you to drink another energy drink, buy a standing desk, and power through the fatigue. The Unrushed way is different. It recognizes that you are not a computer. You cannot just upgrade your processor speed. Sometimes, the most productive thing you can do is stop working, put on your shoes, and leave the room. So, here is the practice. It is the one brick for this week. It is deceptively simple, but difficult to execute because of your addiction to stimulation. The next time you feel stuck, whether it is a creative block, a difficult decision, or a spike of anxiety, I want you to go for a 15-minute walk. But there are rules. Rule number 1, you must leave your phone behind. Not in your pocket on silent, not in your hand. Leave it on the desk. This is the hardest part. You will feel a phantom pull, a fear that you might miss something. Let that feeling be there and walk out the door anyway. Rule number 2, no music, no podcasts, no audiobooks. Do not fill the silence with other people's thoughts. You need to hear your own. Rule number 3, do not try to solve the problem. This is crucial. Do not march out the door with a furrowed brow, saying, "I will figure this out now." Just walk. Look at the trees. Look at the architecture. Feel the air on your skin. Watch your feet hit the pavement. At first, your mind will be loud. It will shout at you about your to-do list. But around the 7 or 8 minute mark, something will shift. The bilateral movement will kick in. The cortisol will drop. The noise will settle like dust after a storm. And then, quietly, without force, the answer will float to the surface. A sentence you were trying to write. A perspective on the argument you hadn't considered. The knot will simply loosen. We live in a world that worships speed, yet we spend our lives strapped to chairs. We are motionless bodies trying to force a racing mind. And it is breaking us. Remember the stagnant pond. If you stay there, the water turns black. You must become the stream. If you are angry, walk. If you are confused, walk. If you are exhausted, walk. Trust in ancient wisdom. Solvitur Ambulando. Whatever the problem is, it is solved by walking. Stay unrushed.